I realized that it's not just about the things that you learn. You need to implement them and create a good portfolio.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the new episode of Being Sober with Apurv. My name is Apurv, and generally we talk about the topics that makes a serious impact on future. That includes technologies and related innovations. So it is also important to talk about the people who are making an impact through big tech companies, who are working in big tech companies. So this is the new episode with Rishabh Sharma, who will provide great insight into the role of business research analyst at Amazon. How I met Rishabh is an interesting story. So this is a mentoring connect we had at Amazon. So he's currently one of my mentor who is guiding me into upskilling into a more technical role. So Rishabh, welcome to the podcast. Thanks a lot for coming over to share value to our listeners. How are you doing?
Yeah, thanks, Apoor. Feeling really great to be here. It's actually my first podcast, and I think it's I'm really honored that I'd like to share my experiences and just provide the insights to the audience so that I can help a larger area of the tech people who want to get in the tech and everything like that. So yeah, really good to be here.
Great, great. I'm sure this is your first podcast. Will provide a great experience. Looking over to record much more podcast coming over. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
So going into the podcast, if you could give us a brief about your intro in your own words, like what is your background and about your current role at Amazon. So uh, yeah, it will be great.
Yeah, so basically, I'm a CS graduate, and I completed my engineering from a Tier 3 college here in Rajasthan. And I graduated in 2018, and I joined Accenture in Gurgaon as a campus placement basically. So Accenture is, as most of the people might be aware, it's kind of a mass recruitment company. But in 2018, something bad happened, and Accenture didn't come on as expected. So out of 750 candidates that applied through campus placement to Accenture in my college, only 70 of them got placed into it. So I considered myself very lucky to be a part of that small portion. So I joined Accenture in 2018, just a week after graduating from college. Then I worked just over an year at Accenture. So when you join, when you were just out of the college, there's not a lot of things that you already know about tech. I mean, at least I didn't know. So when you go there, they give you some trainings and everything, but it's not quite sure what are you going to work upon. So when I joined Accenture, they gave us like training for a few months, and then I started working on SAP. I was new to it, so I tried learning it, but it wasn't, I would say, the area that I liked the most. So I worked like for an year there. Then I switched to Fractal Analytics. It's a analytics company since I had an interest in analytics and machine learning. So at Fractal, I was closely working a little bit closer, working to analytics and handling projects on my own and everything. So for 2 years, I learned a lot about analytics, about analytics as well as machine learning and how all the things work, how a business works, the functional things as well. I worked at Fractal for like 2 years, and then I switched to Amazon, and it's like I would say almost a year at Amazon now. So I have a total of 4 years of experience. That's starting from 2018 till this moment that we are recording the podcast. Yeah.
That's great. That's absolutely great. So since you're working at Amazon, so how will you define your journey at Amazon? So past like 11 month or maybe 8 9 months, right?
Yeah, I think it's I just completed 8 months, I think.
Yeah.
28th of Feb.
Got it. So how has
So
been the journey so far?
yeah, so I started working at Amazon in June last year. All the interviews, I mean, the interview process was the one I would say that was it was exciting one, as well as the nervous phase, you can say, when you are switching from one company to another. And it was a long procedure as well. So it was like 5 interviews, a lot of technical interviews, a lot of coding rounds and everything. So it took 2 months to finally get an offer letter from Amazon, and I joined this organization in June 2021. As you would expect, from all the organizations that you join, a few months are definitely spent into training the training the employee. They basically give you a few trainings about the work culture, about the few HR trainings, the pay compensation training, the work that you are going to do, and everything. So like a first few months definitely went into that. And once you are up and about the culture of working at Amazon, which is really good, you just go to learn about the team that you are going to work with. So the next few weeks basically went on with interacting a lot of people, my manager, the senior manager, and the different teams that I'm going to work with and I'm going to contribute to. So the few weeks basically go into that about learning different things. And so I was new to AWS. I hadn't worked on AWS prior to joining Amazon. So I also spent a few months learning into it. And it's been going, yeah, it's been going pretty good so far. It's kind of a, you can say a roller coaster ride, if I have to put up to that. And but yeah, it's going really good, I would say. You get to learn a lot of things every day. Like they say, like, it's day one at Amazon. It's always the day one at Amazon. So that's how you feel. You get included at the work. You get a lot of ownership. So Amazon basically, it's all about its leadership principles. They have a lot of them, and they keep on adding as as they feel that there's a need to it. And they basically try to get you rammed upon all the leadership principles that they have, and that they, on day to day basis, they test you with those the leadership principles. So yeah, it's going pretty good. It has a lot of ups and downs, but I think that's the part of every journey that you have at any company.
So great. So did like why did you choose Amazon, or you had any other offers like from big tech companies like Meta or uh, any other Microsoft? So did you choose Amazon preferably, or you wanted to go like into a big tech firm?
So see, Amazon, I would say, has a special place as compared to other tech companies. I mean, yeah, other tech companies are good too, I would say. But when I started, applying and trying to switch from Fractal Analytics, Amazon felt kind of the closest one to the role that I was looking for. So as a business research analyst, the basically that the thing we work on is machine learning. And I had a good hold of machine learning. So the role that I was looking for was available at Amazon, right? And I had other offers as well, but since Amazon was kind of hiring really actively for that particular role, so I went on with it. And I'd already like people say, it's a dream company, and you get to learn a lot of things. The people are also one of the brilliant minds that you have in India and everything.
Right.
So it felt like the place that I need to be. And Amazon is, again, it's one of the top tech companies, and they are kind of making a huge impact to the customers, whether it's directly or indirectly. And I've been using Amazon for like more than a decade, and it always felt like an exceptional place to be at. So yeah, here I am.
Right, right. I agree. They are like Amazon is very customer centered. I say they are very customer loving. So I have the same
Yeah.
experience. I have the same experience. Okay, great. So Rishabh, you work as a business research analyst at Amazon, right? So there are
Yeah.
some people who will confuse this role with the business analyst in general. So so is there any difference between a business analyst and a business research analyst? And like, how is the differences? Is there like, can you give us a brief about it?
Yeah, so that's definitely a good question, and I on a daily basis I get a lot of folks reaching out to me that how a business research analyst role different from a business analyst. Even I think a few people from Amazon, the mentees have reached out to me that they aspire to be a business analyst, because that's what a research analyst is also called internally. So they confuse a research analyst with a business analyst, and they reach out to me that they want to be a business analyst, and I have to explain them the difference between it. So there's a subtle difference. It's not like there are actually contrary. They are not. So this role, the business research analyst role, previously used to be called as a research analyst. So at Amazon, we just call it as an RA, or a research analyst, and a business analyst is definitely a BA. So they added the business term to the research analyst because They saw that a research analyst is kind of making an impact to the overall business, whether
Right.
it's indirect or whether it's direct. In most part, it's just an indirect indirect effect on the customers or the end users that we have. So that's why they added the business term to it, that a research analyst would make the business better. They'll help us grow. So and as a business research analyst, or we'll call it as an RA. So an RA basically works on machine learning. Its main priority is work on the modeling part of the machine learning part, building the models. Uh, the models could be built upon machine learning or deep learning. It could be anything, but the primary skill, I would say, is machine learning and having the knowledge of math and statistics and everything. A business analyst basically focus on the overall, I would say, overall progress or overall flow of the ongoing project, right? And the role of a business analyst might vary, depending on each of the individual projects that are going at Amazon. But in our case, the project that I'm working upon, a business analyst mainly works on AWS, and it's his responsibility to keep the pipeline flowing, whether it's about deploying the models, whether it's about running some jobs to get the predictions, whether it's about updating the catalog. So his primary skill, I would say, would be AWS, and his main responsibility is to maintain the ongoing flow of the project basically. Yeah, so I think that's the difference. But apart from these two primary skills, the skills like Python and SQL and everything, so they remain the same.
Got it. Got it. So there's not a much difference, but the difference is only in the process, how these roles work. Uh, so primarily they are working on the same business. So, but the process might be different, but the skills remain the same, right?
Yeah,
So,
that's right.
yeah, great, great. So, thanks a lot, Rishabh, for providing that insight. So suppose we consider two scenarios for someone with a CS background, that is computer science background, and someone with the non-CS background, right? So
Mhm.
someone who is aspiring to be a business research analyst at top tech companies, including Amazon or Meta or Microsoft or maybe Netflix. So how could be the roadmap according to you should be in a brief? So how should he or she start? Uh, Considering both scenarios, so we can just talk about someone with a CS background first, and we'll jump on to the someone who is from a non-CS background. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so I get that a lot as well. See, in my opinion, at least at Amazon, they are not a lot focused upon the stream that you have completed your graduation or your undergraduation or post graduation in. The main thing that they are looking for is, do you have the skills that are needed for the job? Right. Even some tech companies have also ruled out the minimum qualification of having a graduate degree. They just want that you have the enough skills, you have a portfolio, a good portfolio, and you can showcase your skills, then you are ready to get onboarded. They don't care. Most of the companies are trying to get this onboarded, that they don't want to see a graduate degree or anything like that. At Amazon, there is a clause, or they need a minimum qualification of at least a graduation.
Mhm.
But I don't think they are much focused upon the stream that you have completed your graduation in. But if someone I'll just start with the my journey. As I am a CS graduate, I'll just go ahead with how I followed, and maybe people can take an insight from it.
Sure, sure.
So as a CS graduate, one would assume that you learn a lot about computer science in college, but that's just a myth. No one learns anything about. No one basically learns anything in college. They are just there for fun. But I already had I had some some interest towards computers even from my school days. So I chose computer science, and when you choose computer science, they try to teach you few things about computers. And when you are in college, you also try to explore a lot of new things. So when I was in college, they were trying to teach us like C, C++ as the primary programming languages. I wasn't impressed by it. It didn't grasp a lot of my attention. So I it was my like I would say second year of college, and I tried browsing things, learning like online courses. And I remembered that somewhere I had heard that Python is one of the easiest languages that you can learn. Now you can imagine, if someone who is just trying to learn C++ and you are writing like 12 lines or 15 lines of code just to print something, and you switch to Python, and then you see that that thing could be done in just one line.
Whoa.
And imagine a second year student can do that.
Yeah.
So it was like a new experience to me. And I also had an interest in machine learning. I mean, I hadn't learned it, but I knew that it's going to be really popular in the coming few years. So then I started exploring a lot, like what's Python, how do we get into data science and everything like that. So then I took a few courses, a few free courses online. Then when it was time for summer internship, I took a 2 months of summer internship in machine learning itself. They kind of taught us about, you know, the basics of machine learning and what are others, how can implement it and everything. It was not a good one, but yeah, it was okay. So once out of college, I tried to explore a lot of things. I took several courses, several paid courses on my own as well. And when I did that, so I realized that, it's not just about the things that you learn. You need to implement them and create a good portfolio.
I
Now
agree.
this comes to it doesn't matter if you are a CS graduate or any other stream. You need to have a good portfolio. You need to have good personal projects, and this also goes for those candidates who are not currently working in a data science or a machine learning field. So as I said, when I joined Accenture, I was working on SAP. I didn't know, I wasn't working on a machine learning project directly. So I had to, in the office time, I had to work on SAP and do everything related to that. But when I was at home, I would work on my personal projects and try to build a good portfolio out of it and brush up my skills. So it took me like 6 to 8 months to put up like 5 or 6 good projects. And when I thought that, when I felt I was ready, I started applying to different firms. And trust me, it's not an easy thing when you are trying to switch domains basically. So coming from an SAP domain and trying to switch into a data science domain is it's a really difficult task, and not a lot of companies are trying to trust you with that.
Right.
I mean, they would not trust you because they're going to give you the sensitive data and they want the meaning out of it, and they want to improve the business. And since you do not have relevant experience, why should they trust you? So
Right.
that's why you need to build a good portfolio and put up really nice personal projects. You can also do some collaboration with other members, other collaborators on GitHub and everything. Just showcase your skills. You can choose whatever platform you want, but build a nice portfolio and then start applying. It would not be easy. If you are trying to switch domains, it would not be easy. It might take a few weeks, it might take few months. It took me 4 months to switch from SAP to data science. But once you are there, it's going to be a little easier job because you're already into data science, and you can just go ahead with that. So that's I think 80% of the same for the non-CS graduates. But the 20% part that I would say is get a basic understanding about computers and computer programming. So when I was getting interviewed for Amazon, they asked me something about data structures and how the computer thinks. Some basic things that we learn in college. So if someone is from a non-CS background, they need to learn all the things that a CS graduate has done, right? But something extra that they didn't learn during that engineering phase, like the working of computers, what's a compiler, what's an assembler, just the basic things. And I think they'll be good to go. But yeah, the top priority is the portfolio, it's the personal projects.
Got it. Got it. So, in summary, it doesn't matter if you are from the. It doesn't matter much if you are from the CS background or with the non-CS background. So, as Rishabh mentioned, so 80% for the non-CS background has to put some effort, but the same goes with the CS background. So basically, both are the same level. But the only difference that is make that someone makes that if a CS graduate has not done any project, and if a non-CS background one has done a beautiful projects about data science or machine learning, he would create an impact into the. He would have definitely have an advantage into the interview. So definitely, what it works is academic portfolio, a very good project portfolio to get shortlisted or screened in for the top tech companies. So since we
Yep.
talked about, yeah,
Another thing, just a second.
sure, sure, sure.
So I also get this from a lot of folks reaching out to me as well, on LinkedIn, whether on YouTube or everything. So they ask about my college. So I think this is the first time I am I would say I am publicly or socially telling about my college. So I'm from a tier 3 college, and it's a misconception that you need to be you need to be from an IIT or NIT to get into companies like Amazon, or the top tech companies that we have. So
Right.
Amazon has like over a million employees, and if they try to hire from the tier 1 or tier 2 colleges, they won't have a million employees. So
Yeah.
it's definitely it's definitely a myth that they just hire from IITs or NITs. Tier 3 colleges are also welcome. Even tier 4 colleges are also welcome. You just need to have the sufficient skills required for that particular job.
Got it. Got it. So definitely, yeah, sufficient skills and a good project portfolio. So yeah, everything uh, like doesn't make much of an impact if you're from tier 3
Yeah,
college or tier 2
I'm
college.
just trying to put up some motivation for those folks, folks like me.
Now, same here. Same here. Same
Yeah.
here. So okay, since we talked about the roadmap, about someone from a CS background and someone from a non-CS background, how he or she will pursue the interview in the top tech companies. So can you let us know some of the good courses or the resources that you followed, which would also be helpful for our listeners if they want to follow the same path as you're working on? So anything would work. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a big topic actually, because in the past few years there have been come up like a lot of folks and a lot of small startups that are trying to spread knowledge about machine learning, right? When I was in Accenture, I didn't have a lot knowledge about machine learning, or even the basics that are required for that. I knew how to implement it, but that you can find anywhere on the internet. It's like the copy paste thing. So
Mhm.
but to learn it from the core, right, you need to have the grasp of the basics. So, and when you try to search it online now, it's been like 4 years since I took that. The things have changed. The education has become much more, kind of affordable. The things are available freely on YouTube and everything. But like go back 4 years, there weren't a lot of resources available regarding machine learning has really caught up in like last 4 or 5 years. So in 2018, I was also trying to find some courses where I can get a good hold. I can get a good set of assignments, and also the set of mentors, or at least a mentor who would help me clear my doubts, and help me build a good portfolio.
Right.
There were a lot of courses, but the main course that I took, and which proved to me the best one, was applied AI course. So I've also put up a video regarding this one on my channel, where I shared my experience and everything regarding this. But applied AI course, why would I suggest this one is because it's like a one stop solution, you can say that. It has
Mhm.
they start up from so it's like an online course, and it's self-paced. It's really affordable. It's not too much. It's like 20-30,000 rupees. And they just start you from the basics, like you don't know anything. Even if you are just high school pass out, it's going to work for you as well. They just start you from the basics of Python, statistics, and the basic SQL and everything. And then they take you up to the advanced deep learning stuff, the recommendation things, the things that Netflix uses, the things that Amazon uses about deep learning and everything. So they
Right.
take you up to there. So I think it's a really good place to learn. First of all, I would suggest anyone who's trying to get into deep learning or machine learning or data sciences, first see if this field at all interests you. I've seen a lot of folks who, on my recommendation, go and take applied AI course, but when they are like 4 or 5 months into it, they realize that this is not they want to do, or it's like it's not their cup of tea. So for machine learning, mathematics and statistics and probability is the main thing that you need to learn. You cannot run away from this. You need to learn this if you want to be a good machine learning engineer. So if you don't like maths, just forget about this. Don't be
Okay.
a machine learning engineer or a deep
Uh,
learning engineer. Just learn Python, SQL. You'll be good. You will get a job of an analyst or something like that. But for being a machine learning engineer or a research analyst, that's what they say at Amazon. You need to have a good understanding about statistics and mathematics in general. So applied AI course was that platform that provided the basics and up to the advanced level. They explained everything in detail, and they also provide you real life examples. So this also helps you to build up a portfolio, and create a lot of personal projects, and it really gets your hands dirty. So when a recruiter or when an interviewer, a company wants to hire you, they want to see the personal projects or the portfolio that you have built. And unless you do some projects on your own from start to the end, you won't realize what it means, and you won't be able to answer their questions when they uh, dive deep into it.
I agree.
So applied AI course basically provides you with like 30 or 40 assignments. They help you with through them. If you are stuck at anywhere, they'll definitely help you. And once you are through with 30 assignments, they'll give you two case studies to work upon from start to end solely. So the mentors are not going to help you. You just need to start from extracting the data, like the data scraping or whatever you need to do, and build the final model and present it in a nice format. So I think it's anyone is looking for a paid course, which is like a one-stop solution. So they can go for applied AI course. If someone is just into exploring about machine learning or data science, they can go for free courses available on Udemy or Udacity, Coursera. Even YouTube has a lot of playlists that gives you an idea about it. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Great. Great. So, applied AI course is something that one could definitely stop and check out. But definitely, I agree with the one point that Rishabh mentioned, that uh, i- i- you want to pursue that course if you're really into it. Someone who is already into it and already 4 months into it and not realizing that this is just boring and this is not done by me. So I think that should be uh, one that you should take care about. So definitely, I'll recommend going into the free courses first, and you see if it is something that inspires you to take applied AI course or some other paid courses. So I think that would be great if you would go that way. Do you agree with me, Shiv? I think that would
Yeah,
be
I think that's the summary of it.
great. Great. So okay, the last question, but not the least question. This is one thing that could be one deciding factor for the people who are targeting top tech companies. So, Rishabh, if you could mention the salary package range according to industry standards, uh, that would be great. So, according to your role, any range. Uh,
Uh, Another question that I get asked a lot.
Uh,
I haven't answered it yet to anyone because
mhm.
it might disappoint a few folks who are dreaming about who
Let's
have a dream
okay okay
company.
let us
Let's say
categorize into
Amazon.
this fresher who is getting into this role and who is already into this role for like 3-4 years, or like trying to explore more. So definitely there would be some difference, right?
Okay, I think that would be an easier way. So I work. So there are basically some levels at Amazon. So it starts from L1, L2, L3, and goes up to L12. So L1, I would say it's kind of an internship level, and L2 is the the entry level, the most entry level position that you have. So you start with L2, then get promoted to L3 and 4, and the hierarchy goes on. So I was hired, since I'm an experienced professional and I had a few years of experience. So I was hired at an L4 position, right? And if you are starting, so if someone is coming fresh out of college, then he would be probably hired at an L2 or an L3 position. I think for a research analyst position, they don't have an L2 level, so they'll be probably hired at an L3 position. And if you are starting at an L3 position for an RA, so the base salary that they can have would be somewhere around 7 LPA up to 15 LPA. So the compensation of Amazon, it's basically divided into a few components. So you have the base level pay, you have some kind of a sign-on bonus, and then you have the restricted stock units. So the stock units that they give, you don't get that for like first 2 years or maybe first 3 years. So to compensate for that, they provide you with a sign-on bonus that's approximately the same amount of the current stock price of Amazon RSUs. So it's that. But basically, if you talk about the base level, so RSUs may depend on level. It may depend upon the college that you are graduating and joining Amazon from.
Right.
It may depend on the years of experience that you have, the skills that you have and everything. But the base pay, if I have to mention, the base pay could be anywhere around from 7 LPA to 15 LPA for someone who is joining at an L3 level. I joined at an L4 level, and the HR was kind enough to tell me the range that they have for an L4 L4 candidate joining. So for L4, the range that they have, it can again start anywhere from 9 LPA, and it can go up to at 25 LPA. The base the base pay basically.
Wow.
One good thing about Amazon is, let's say you join at an L3 position, and you get promoted. So the increments that they have at Amazon are not that good. I would say it's not like 15-20% hikes, but they are pretty okay. The average increments that you get would be around 9 or 10%. But the good thing is, once you get promoted, you might get the hike up to 100%. So if you are hired at, let's say, 15 lakhs as a base pay, when you get promoted, you might get up to 30 LPA as the base pay. So that's almost like, going to another company. It's like
Right.
switching the job. So that's the thing for, the people who have a few years of experience, let's say 4 or 5 years of experience. The base pay for an L4 level could range from anywhere from 9 to 25. For an L5 position, that's somewhat of a lead position. And when you are at a lead position, you get paid a lot. So the base pay could there range from, I don't know, 30 LPA to 40 LPA. So
Mm.
when you are at Amazon and you get tenured at Amazon, the base pay would get stable at a particular level. It's not going to increase always by a lot, but the amount of the stock units that you are going to get, that may get increased as you get, as you get matured and tenured at Amazon. So yeah, I think that's the rough idea about it. But yeah, it might vary with anything. It
Mhm.
might vary with the years of experience that you have, the personal projects that you have built, the project that you are going on. But to give the rough idea, I think those numbers would suffice there.
Great, great, great. Thanks a lot, Rishabh, for providing this valuable information to our listeners. Uh, and I'm sure we will record much more podcast episodes, which will provide much more greater insights into the roles at Amazon. So definitely, I will link all the handles of Rishabh down in the description, so you can check it on Spotify description page, LinkedIn, uh, any other handle that he wants to share. So definitely, and somebody wants to connect, you can ask Rishabh directly questions on LinkedIn. And yeah, that is about it. Thanks a lot, Rishabh, for sharing this valuable info. And how was your experience? I hope it is good.
Yeah, I mean, as I said in the beginning, right?
Uh,
It's a first podcast. I was kind of nervous, a little bit nervous, but I really hope that my experience help other people, and they learn something from this, and they go to the greater heights. That's the only
Thanks a
thing
lot.
that I wish for them.
Thanks a lot, Rishabh. Thanks a lot. So, okay,
Yeah.
guys, I'll see you in the next episode. Stay tuned to the podcast of Being Sober with Apurv. I hope to see you in the next episode. Goodbye, take care, and good night.